Welcome to Advocacy at 8. I am attorney Sandra Jill Poland, your community legal advocate. Advocacy at 8 is my new YouTube legal series, which launched October 1st, 2018. This series of legal education videos will be posted daily at 8 p.m. Each video, in 8 minutes or less, will educate you on an important legal issue. You and your community at large will be enlightened and empowered. Thank you and your community for viewing Advocacy at 8. I am attorney Sandra Jill Poland, your community legal advocate. This week's topic has been trust. In yesterday's video, I discussed what special needs trusts are. Please view that video to see how a special needs trust operates. In Wednesday's video, I talked about generation skipping trust. Please view that episode to find out more how generation skipping trusts work. In my second video, I discussed the difference between a will and a trust and defined and distinguished between executors and administrators. And in my first video, I defined what a trust is and then defined other legal terms such as asset, beneficiary, legacy, and probate, terms that we'll be using in our discussion of trust. Take the time, if you haven't already, and view the first 4 videos. The information shared is very valuable, and it's delivered in a way that is easily understood. Now, in this episode, we'll be discussing a spendthrift trust, also known as an asset protection trust. An asset protection trust can protect your beneficiaries from their own weaknesses. One of the most effective tools for protecting, preserving, and passing on wealth to our beneficiaries is the spendthrift trust or asset protection trust. It's a tool that can protect assets from creditors as well as from the particular weaknesses of beneficiaries. An asset protection trust or a spendthrift trust is a trust account overseen by a trustee that controls the assets that are funded by the creator of the trust. The beneficiary does not have direct access to the principal. The objective of the trust is for the beneficiary to maintain her lifestyle, but not have direct access to the assets of the trust to waste them. In a spendthrift trust, the beneficiary is forbidden from spending the money before they actually receive the income. For example, if I have a 10-unit apartment building valued at $2 million that I put in the trust and create a spendthrift trust for my daughter. She's 25, she's intelligent, but not really able to control her spending. The trust generates $120,000 in income, rents per year. So my daughter would receive that, but she would not be able to pledge the trust assets as collateral. If she did spend more than she was able to support with her income, let's say she purchased an event planning company for $1 million, the creditors would not be able to get to the assets in the trust. Let's say she took out a loan and was not able to keep up with the loan payments. The creditors might think that they're able to get that apartment building valued at $2 million and say attach it to collect their $1 million, but they would not be able to reach that. That would be protected from that creation of the spendthrift trust. The only money that the creditors would be able to get would be the income that she would receive per year, which is at $120,000. The principle of the spendthrift trust would still be in place, generating rents for decades to come. How do we create a spendthrift trust? The process is the same as creating any other spendthrift trust, except that the trust must include language in regards to the spendthrift provision. Language that restricts beneficiaries' power to spend in excess of her distribution and would shield assets from the creditors. It can be for the beneficiary's lifetime or merely for just a fixed number of years. The trust is irrevocable, meaning it cannot be changed or terminated, and it prevents the creditors from attaching the interest of the beneficiary before that interest is actually distributed to the beneficiary. The trust can be set up so that the trustee can distribute the distribution per the trustee's discretion, or they could be fixed mandatory distributions. Most well-drafted irrevocable trusts will contain a spendthrift provision anyway, even though the beneficiary is not known to be a spendthrift. The language protects and the beneficiary in the event a beneficiary is sued and a judgment creditor seeks to attach the beneficiary's interest in the trust. Once the property has been distributed to the beneficiary, that property can be reached by a creditor, except to the extent the distributed income is used to support the beneficiary. Now, what about establishing a spendthrift trust to help your beneficiary avoid child support or alimony? Most jurisdictions allow piercing the spendthrift trust to satisfy awards of child support and alimony. Sudden wealth without financial aptitude often ends badly. Look at the instantly wealthy lottery winners who lose it. So if the beneficiary is one, not disciplined in regards to her spending, two, has an addiction that could cause her to squander funds, three, easily deceived or defrauded, four, easily falling into debt with creditors, then a spendthrift asset protection trust allows the trustee to provide for the beneficiary from the trust without risking the trust principal will be wasted. Thank you for your time.